I know.
Baby's first board meeting.
We're going to bring the meeting to order. You'll stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. No changes to the agenda.
You just need approval of the agenda.
I motion to approve the agenda.
Second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, patron participation. Okay, consent agenda.
All right, we'll move on to the claims. It's in your packet. Letter A. B, approval of the minutes from the regular board meeting on June 15th, 2026. Personnel report. Proud to say we have two new hires. Taylor Harger, a recent graduate, is going to be working our daycare. And Michael Harrison, who is here with us tonight, is going to be hired as our PE weights, and he will be an adjunct teacher to begin with. We have resignations of Desmond Davis, Delaney Knubelher, Brandy McNamara, Applied Skills, and Scott McNamara, Food Service Work, and a reassignment of Brianna Stayhut. She's moving from part-time to full-time in daycare. And we had no receipt of funds, so I would recommend your approval unless you have any questions on items A through D.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second the motion to approve the consent agenda.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nay.
Okay, under new business, letter A, we have a request for an EdFlex waiver, and I know there was a sheet included in your board packet, but Katie Richter is with us tonight, and here's the mic, Katie, and I'll turn it on for you even. How about that? All right, yeah, there, whoops. Yeah, there it is.
Okay, so I am here tonight to solicit public opinion on our intent to ask for an EdFlex waiver. And what that means is under Title I, as it's written, we have to hire teaching assistants that either have 2 years of college or have passed the paraprofessional examination. Something that we can do instead is apply for this EdFlex waiver. And that makes it so that we can consider years experience working with students or professional development within our school system. It's something we have to do every year. And because we're school-wide title school, any teaching assistant that's working with the students, whether it's library, art, music, they all have to be credentialed but this gives us more flexibility. So we are asking for public opinion. And if you're at home tonight and you have an opinion or a question or a comment, you can email Dr. Reichart at william.reichart@hcs.k12.in.us by 5 o'clock tomorrow. That's July 21st, 2026, with your thoughts. And I don't know if anybody here has any thoughts or questions for our public declaration of EdFlexness.
And this is
Anybody?
something that we do each year. That's not something new. So we did the same thing last year, but if the board has any questions, please ask Mrs. Richter. I think we need a motion, yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the EdFlex waiver.
I second the emotion, the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Sure, you can turn it off. Okay, our next item on the agenda is our food meal prices. And as you know, things are going up in pricing. So for 26-27, the breakfast prices with board approval will be students at $2.50. Adults will be $3.25. For lunch, K to 5 is $3.25. 6 through 12 is $3.75, and adults are $5.25. I also want to point out that in working with a board member's comment and also working with Sherry Caricio Sardinsky, go ahead. Sardini. I got an SKI in there for some reason tonight. We have contracted with Piazza Foods, which will provide us with fresh foods, which should enhance our lunches as well. So part of the price increase also goes because we're going to try and serve healthier meals. So with that, we'll need a motion to approve the meal prices for the 26-27 school year.
I'll make a motion to approve the school meal prices for 26-27 school year.
Second the motion. If the school lunch prices for the 26-27 school year.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mrs. Friend, I have a question. Do you remember what school lunch prices were when you first started teaching?
No, I don't remember that, but I remember in kindergarten, we brought in a dime for milk for the week,
Okay.
Yeah.
For a week.
for the week.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
And they delivered it down at the end of the hall in glass bottles in a crate,
Oh my gosh.
and they picked it back up every day. Yes, it was
Oh,
2 cents a day, a dime for the week.
Wow, that's cool.
A nickel for a carton of milk. I want to backtrack just a little bit because we introduced Michael Harrison as our new weightlifting, and he's here, and we should give him a chance to introduce himself to the board. So if we can backtrack just a moment. And Michael, you are able to say anything. You'll need this mic so people at home can hear you. Don't be bashful. Yeah, it's on.
My name is Michael Harrison. I'm a 2005 graduate. And then, so I went here in high school. I graduated, went to the welding program in Kendallville. So I've experience with that. And then after school, I worked for a few years and then joined the Marine Corps. I was in the Marine Corps for 5 years. And then since then we have a farm near Butler, family farm. And I've been working there and a few other things, but yeah, it's a good opportunity. I've been volunteering at the school with track and conditioning, and was presented the opportunity to do this, and I thought it'd be a good fit. So especially the flexible schedule and everything you guys have done to help with the newborn. So kind of excited to, I guess, kind of give back to the school a little bit. And also, I see some deficiencies in our athletics program that could, that I think I could help fill a little bit, especially like injury prevention, I think is a big thing. So we've had some issues.
Good luck on that.
Yeah, I know. These kids nowadays don't do a whole lot. But yeah, I'm excited to try and fix some of that stuff. So
Got any baling straw or hay jobs on the farm for some of our
We don't-
athletes?
We don't anymore.
Okay,
trust me,
all right.
That's all I used to do. We did that
Yeah.
for 15 years.
Yeah, you and me both.
One of the things I wanted to mention about Mr. Harrison is the students respect him and he's very encouraging to them. I had a student last week say not to me, but I overheard the student talking, maybe it was you, Mr. Prokop, but she was saying, Mr. Harrison's my biggest cheerleader. And I stopped and turned back and I was like, well, that's awesome to hear. And I think the injury prevention and meeting students where they are and being able to track them and encouraging them, I think you're going to do a phenomenal job. And we're really excited to have you here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Things always work out the way they're supposed to, you know, so. All right, well, thank you, and I apologize that I forgot to put you, and feel free to leave if you want to leave as well, so. Okay, no harm. C, go ahead, Kristen.
Sorry, I have one more thing. I was looking on the class of 2005 after all these years, Trish, last week, and I looked up, I was like, oh, there's Mr. Harrison. And I looked right above you. I said, that looks just like Mrs. Harrison. And I was standing with Keith, and he goes, I think that's our high school English teacher. I said, it is. How did I never know they went to high school together? How cool is that? So I love how your pictures are right next to each other. And Allie's husband too. So yeah, pretty cool. Oh, and it's other. Yeah. Yes.
And am I right that the new baby will be going to our daycare? And there's another plus for us, because without the daycare, he may not have been able to jump on board with us, so. Okay, letter C, we have a resolution to transfer from the education fund to the cafeteria fund, and I'll let Brittany explain this one.
This is something we've done occasionally. In the 8 years I've been here, we've done it. This will be the third time. The cafeteria balance runs in the negative pretty much every year. We did 2 transfers, one in 2020, one in 2021 for 20,000 each. This time it's going to be for 64,000. This just brings the cafeteria balance to 0 so they can start fresh next time. Request your approval on that transfer.
So if the board has any questions, if not, we'll need a motion to approve the transfer of funds from the education fund to the cafeteria fund.
I'll make a motion to approve the transfer from the education fund to the cafeteria fund.
I second the motion to transfer funds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have the approval of the athletic department policies and procedures for the 26-27 school year. And Mr. Prokop is here and has the mic, so take it over, Dave.
Yeah, so I will just kind of touch base on this real quick. Basically, we just wanted to go through and update the policies that we had in place. It had not been updated since I've taken over as athletic director. So some of it was just formality of contact information, old websites and things like that. So that was the biggest thing we took away. I wanted to add. And then we added into it kind of the Hamilton Athletics vision, and also really hit hard on what the culture of Hamilton Athletics was going to be and what we want moving forward. So that's the biggest update inside it. And then we talked about just student responsibilities, but also we hit on parent responsibilities. And because I've noticed that before there wasn't really like a chain of command on how parents can reach out. Sometimes parents were coming straight to the athletic director, but hadn't talked to the coach, and just trying to have it all make sense and have a nice chain of command. And then I added in the sports app that we use, which is Sports U, and we use that across all sports for communication from coaches to athletes to parents. So just kind of updated some of that. Any questions regarding that?
Can you comment on the appeal process? I know we added that as well, Dave.
Yeah, so I can touch base on that. But if there was a student that wanted to appeal, say if there was a suspension for any one of reasons, but if a student athlete or parent guardian believes decision was unfair or inconsistent with the athletic department policies, they can request an appeal hearing. They would have to let me know, and then we go through our hearing process, which is laid out in here. But it's going to have the athletic director, principal, possibly assistant principal, head coaches, and then they go through the process themselves. They've had a process before, but we just kind of updated it to make it laid out so they know exactly what they're looking into. So far, we have not had that happen, but we know that it's bound to happen. And also just the update to IHSA rules, because they have changed drastically in the last 2 years with transfers and PBA and things like that. So, any questions for me?
Something about that. When the part that he mentioned that comes with the families and getting them organized or kind of on the same page, I think Mr. Prokop does a really awesome job of communicating effectively with families as well. If you've ever been to any of the sports awards, end of the season sports awards, he always does a really good job communicating to the families where we've been, where we're going, and getting the families on the same page as the kids. Because as we know, the kids are half the battle. The families need to support them too. And he does a really good job being transparent with them. And I think this is just another step in that direction. So
Thank you very much.
you're welcome.
And I'll just piggyback a little bit on that. It's also important for us to get younger student athletes involved in our sports programs. And I think Mr. Prokop has reached out and has done that. We've got some great results with our 5th and 6th grade and even younger with camps with 3rd and 4th grade volleyball and so forth. So this is just another step in the right direction. Tonight's a great night when we hire our weights and conditioning coach as well, because they're going to be working hand in hand with our student athletes. So our new weight room, we got people on board that I think are going to click, and I think our students are going to enjoy being student athletes here at Hamilton.
Thank you.
So we just need a motion for that.
I'll make the motion to, where are we? Approve the newly revised athletic department policies.
Second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and then we have the student handbook for the 26-27 school year, and Ms. Furness will take that one.
If you recall, we did revise the handbooks pretty significantly a couple years ago. We did an overhaul. So this year was just a tweak, representing something that we've already talked about before. The state, specifically SEA 78, has changed and come down pretty heavily on schools and the policies associated with communication devices, i.e. cell phones, smartwatches, iPads, even the wireless earbuds. So the rule in the past is shifting to from bell to bell, the language states. The students need to have the devices powered off and kept in their locker, and are not permitted to have them like we've had in the past where they're allowed to have them at lunch or checking them during passing periods. No more. They need to be powered off entirely. So this language that I just passed down to you guys essentially is just built from that law that all of the other schools are doing as well. We're not changing it beyond what the language states. So it's just kind of a printout to give a little bit more specifics associated with that we will be entering into the handbook. Additionally, we will plan to communicate that via social media and also on ThrillShare to the families so they have time and it's not the kids have time to whine and cry about it before the first day of school. So mentally prepare themselves. Yeah.
Well, they're already
And most
whining
of
and
them are
crying.
aware it was happening.
But
yeah.
they're also mentally preparing themselves,
Yes.
from what I hear.
Yes.
Anything else on the handbook? Changes that the board needs to be aware of? The rest of it's the same. Okay. We should point out that we are going to allow students to have cell phones after school. During activities that go on, it's important that they can communicate with parents for rides and those type of things. And did we make a decision on our impact kids? I think we're going to allow them to have the the phones, but Allie, can you address?
Yes, the impact students will be permitted to have their cell phones with them. The Impact Institute is going to have them a phone jail essentially for each of them to put away. But for the bus ride, it is permitted for them to take their cell phones with them because many of those students need to communicate between one building and the next with families and so on for planning purposes. So they will have access.
Thank you. With that, any questions from the board? If not, you need a motion to approve the revised student handbook for 26-27.
I'll make the motion to approve the revised student handbook.
Second the motion to approve the handbook.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, at our last meeting, we had our first reading, so tonight would be the second reading for Neola Volume 38, Number 1. I would ask for your approval unless you have any questions or comments on that.
I need a motion.
Sure. I'll make the motion to approve the Neola policies.
Second the motion on the Neola policy.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then we have the second reading tonight of Neola Volume 38, Number 1, non-discrimination updates that were discussed and read at the last meeting. So again, unless you have questions, I'll be happy to answer them, or we need a motion to approve.
I make the motion to approve the Neola Volume 38 on the non-discrimination update.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and then I have the next set, which is Neola Volume 38, Number 2. And you may want to fall asleep for a while, but I'm going to go through these rather quickly, but there's a lot of them tonight. And since we don't have a long agenda, I figured this is probably the best time. And I think Mr. Lucas saw the agenda and decided to go on vacation and obviously April did too. So anyhow, I will go through these and stop me if you have any questions. But bylaw 0100 is to repeat what Allie's already said. That is that we will prohibit all kinds of personal communication devices, including smartwatches and smart glasses. Bylaw 151 that just says the school organizational meeting after the elections starting January, we have 30 days to appoint officers for the board. Policy 1220, employment of the superintendent, which you're going to use here in a little while, just updates the legal requirements of how it needs to be done in the posting and the hearing on the contract. Nothing changes. Policy 1520, extracurriculars. This is just to establish safety and legal standards for all personnel supervising extracurricular activities. Whether they're paid or volunteer, they must go through the proper training requirements of an IDOE-approved course on student abuse protection, mental health, and suicide prevention. And Mr. Prokop does that with our employees who are in those roles. Board policies 1623, 3123, and 4123 have grammatical and punctuation errors, and so that's it. 1662, threatening or intimidating behavior towards staff members. This says that if we have any type of personal attacks on or attack on a staff member, that the administration is required to immediately notify law enforcement when something like that happens. Policy 2221 is mandatory curriculum, now provides a more comprehensive and accurate framework for mandatory instruction as required by IC blah, 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 which includes standards from language arts, social studies, citizenship, sciences, fine arts, as well as the safety and the effects of alcohol, tobacco, drugs, and other substances on the human body. Policy 3120.02 is about adjunct teachers, and it just, again, reinforces the legal things that need to be done for hiring an adjunct teacher. Policy 3120.08, this is Mr. Prokop's area, mandates that all IHSA AA sponsored coaches, whether paid or volunteer, be properly rostered and accredited prior to student contact. The key there is prior to student contact. We can't allow a coach to start or a volunteer coach to start without that framework being done. Policy 3121, personal background checks. Just make sure that we're doing that when we're hiring staff, which we are. Policy 3131, reduction in force. This is when a teacher would be removed because we are falling enrollment, which right now we don't have that issue. We're hiring instead of reducing, but it says that the cancellation of a teacher's contract due to a justifiable decrease in number of teaching positions is determined based on performance. It removes basing it on the four old categories of highly effective, needs improvement, and improvement necessary. We can still do those, but go ahead, Kristen. Go ahead.
This past year, the 25-26 school year, we had 20 certified staff members that were effective and 8 certified staff members that were highly effective. No staff members were ineffective.
Thank you. We need to report that annually to the board, so that's a good place for it. Thank you. Policy 3139, staff discipline policy has been revised to allow for progressive discipline without requiring it. 3142, cancellation of a teacher contract. It revised to amend the definition of a probationary teacher. Policy 3220, staff evaluation, just says that we have to develop our own plan, or we can use a plan that we have used before. It does not have to be discussed with the association. 3220.02, supplemental payments for teachers is updated to say that the corporation can issue those, but we can also take out taxes and expenses, teachers' retirement fund, and those things from the award. Policy 3362.01, threatening or intimidating behavior towards staff members, technical correction. Leaves of absences. The leave benefits will be the same unless the corporation provides written notice of a difference to the impacted employees on leaves of absences. That's policy 3430. Policy 4120.08. Again, this is Mr. Prokop's area where he has to make sure that they're certified and trained. 4150 is disciplinary actions. It's a replacement policy, and it just does not change anything but replaces the old policy. Policy 4362, again, threatening or intimidating behavior towards staff members. Again, this policy was adopted to requires that any threat motivated by a protected class, such as race, gender, or religion, triggers specific board-adopted investigative protocols. And there's a whole 10 pages of stuff that we have to do if a complaint is filed. Policy 5111, determination of legal settlement, says that we cannot deny a student just because of a student's disability. 5136, communication devices, we've already covered tonight. 5136.01, it says that any non-corporation electronic equipment that is not a PC device is also not allowed. So in other words, a student can't bring a computer from home and use it in their class unless we give them permission to do so. 5310, health services, technical correction. 5462, retaking a class. This policy was updated to reflect that not every corporation system will allow the corporation to insert audit for a class audited by a student on their transcript. The policy has been modified to require the corporation to record in some way that the student is not taking the course for credit, but is auditing the class and it will not be figured into the student's grade point average. 5540 is schools and law enforcement agencies, and we do not have our own police force, so it's not really something that we have to be worried about. Policy 5600 just changes some things to avoid gender in student discipline. 5480, with the repeal, this one's been repealed. This one's going away, so we don't have to talk about it. Policy 6109, credit cards. This is where corporations can get in trouble with credit cards. There's a new policy that utilizes the ability to accept payment by credit card provided in IC, blah, 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 and the restricts responsibilities for protecting data and the duty to disclose any breach. So if we have a breach on our credit card, we need to make sure we inform the parents who are using our credit cards, which we don't allow. Policy 6152, student fees and charges have been revised to provide additional guidance regarding imposing a limit on the amounts to be written off as uncollectible fees and charges. That's a Brittany one. Policy 6325, it raises the grant amounts not to exceed 15,000, small purchases not to exceed 350,000, and price analysis requirement threshold 350,000 effective October 1st, 2025, which means that technically we could purchase that before board approval, but my practice is to bring anything significant dollars to the board before we buy it. Hygiene management policy 7420. Based on feedback from clients, this policy has been updated to replace the term feces with diarrhea, vomiting, and vomitus with vomit, and add other bodily fluids. Thank you. Policy 7541, electronic data processing disaster recovery plan. That's a Kelly one. No biggie there, unless it happens to us, I should say. Policy 8120, volunteers, been revised to remove a list of specific convictions that the school corporation is required to report to the IHSAA and identify the revisions that we must report. And just about any type of conviction needs to be reported. Hang in there, we're almost done. Policy 8300, continuity of organizational operations plan. This policy has been revised to include additional language and options regarding cybersecurity safeguards. Cybersecurity is a biggie one right now with everything going on. Policy 8305, information security. The information security policy is a critical safeguard for the school corporation's digital and physical assets, providing for the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of sensitive data belonging to students, staff, and vendors. If you recall, this past year we had a breach with Power School. Kelly notified those parents, and we got through that without any issues up to this point. Policy 8400, school safety information. This policy has been revised to include the term building instead of school corporation. 8455, coaches training references and IHSAA reporting. Another policy reflecting Mr. Prokop that paid or volunteer coaches must be rostered and accredited. Policy 8462, child abuse and neglect. This is being revised to reflect the revision of Indiana code changes, and there's nothing significant other than legal wording in that policy. So with that, that concludes the policies that are being read for the first time tonight. And if you have any questions or comments, I'll be happy to answer any at this time. Okay. All right. With that, we are finished with the first reading. And under superintendent's comments, if we move on to the agenda for this evening, I don't have a lot to report other than 2 weeks from today, we will have teachers and staff in the building, which seems like crazy times that we're only 2 weeks away from that. We have finished some of our construction. We have new flooring down in the science areas and labs, and it looks great. If you get a chance to walk down there, we also carpeted the old FFA room, and since that's going to be done, or that room will be used next year with a resource teacher as Minnie McConnell moves into our lab, and she's excited. She's been working. I see her in here almost every day working, cleaning, and planning in the food lab that she'll be having. So that's been great. We've got all our staff hired except for special ed. We have a hard time finding a special ed teacher. We're waiting until the last minute, and if we don't find one, we're going to sit down with our 3 special ed teachers to see how we could help them, whether that would be extra pay for the time that they're working in the evening to do their paperwork, or whether we can give them days off, pay them for their days off, so that they can get caught up and hire a sub for that particular day. But at this point in time, we don't have any candidates, and we're not the only school district. Lakeland is looking for 5 special ed teachers. Prairie Heights, I think, is looking for 1. DeKalb Eastern is looking for 1. So it's just a very short area of supply, unfortunately, for our students who are in college right now. And I believe that is my superintendent's report.
Thank you, Dr. Reichert. I just wanted to mention in-person registration is this coming Thursday, July 23rd. We changed it from 2 days that we've done in the past, and we just made it one long day. So we will be here from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. this coming Thursday in the library. Please enter at door 1, 3, or 4. And we also have orientation for our 6th graders that are coming in, and for any new students that are enrolled. Right now, we currently have several new students that are coming. So we would encourage them to come this coming Thursday between 5 and 6 p.m. for orientation, where they can get their locker combination, kind of get to know the layout of the school, and parents can ask any questions that they might have. We also have our open house the night before school begins on Tuesday, August 4th. And this is school-wide, pre-K to 12, between 5 and 6 p.m. And it's open house style. Just come walk your schedule, meet your teachers, and drop off any school supplies and get ready. It kind of alleviates those nerves for that following first day of school. Thank you.
I have a quick question on that topic. For school supplies.
Yeah.
I guess I don't need to ask this during the board meeting, but where are the school supply lists located?
They're on social media, and I text them out, and I can give you a hard copy also.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
They're available at Walmart or other area. No, they're not. Wow, that is amazing. Better go to Amazon, huh? Brittany, treasurer's report.
Form 9's been completed. I do that twice a year, so that's done for January through June. Starting budgeting soon, and other final end of fiscal year.
And Brittany, help me out. What was our ADM in the spring for?
417.
417 was our spring ADM. So our goal is to increase that number as we get registrations coming in and the start of school from that number. So that's a key number. Board member comments.
So you mentioned last month something about, or not something about, you had talked about the field, the baseball field.
Yes. Yes.
And maybe allowing some space for the Hamilton Summer League to convert it into the right size that they need. I just wanted to say that the park board met with the town, with Jenna and Pam, and they're gonna see about maybe trying to expand their existing space first to see what the
Okay.
cost would be
Okay.
on that. to find the most cost effective and efficient way of doing it before we, because of a variety of different reasons. So,
Sure. No, I understand. And like I said, we made that offer to them. We have that extra ground out by the solar field that certainly would make a nice ball diamond space.
Okay.
Thanks for the update.
No problem. Thank you.
Nobody else have anything? I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Meeting's adjourned.
Aye.
Thank you.